The grand hall of Genosia's royal palace glittered with light reflected from polished armor. Most attendees wore ceremonial battle gear adorned with precious metals and gems. Captain Taho Kim adjusted his formal Earth diplomatic uniform, feeling distinctly out of place among the tall, muscular Genosian women who filled the room. Remember, his senior diplomat had warned before the mission, the Amazons of Genosia tolerate men as necessary for trade, but view them as inferior. Watch your words, your actions, and never stare at the royal family. Yet Taho couldn't help staring now. Princess Era stood on the raised platform, her face a perfect mask as she accepted the ceremonial binding bracelet from Warlord De's representative. The foreign warlord himself hadn't even bothered to attend his own betrothal ceremony. At 26, the princess was being traded like cargo to secure an alliance with the neighboring Krell system. When she glanced up, her eyes met Taho's across the room. For just a moment, her mask slipped, revealing such raw desperation that he nearly gasped. Then her royal composure returned, and she continued the ceremony. "You see it too," whispered Sun Mai, his translation assistant, and the only other human present. "She doesn't want this marriage." Taho nodded slightly. "Not our concern. We're here to secure the mining rights. Nothing more." The ceremony concluded, transitioning to a lavish reception. Genosian warriors drank and boasted while Taho moved politely between groups, making the expected diplomatic small talk. He noticed Princess Era dutifully conversing with nobles, her smile never reaching her eyes. Later, as Taho took a wrong turn looking for the restroom, he found himself in a quiet corridor. A hand grabbed his arm, pulling him into an alcove. He reached for his stunner before recognizing Princess Era. "You're the Earth Captain," she said, her voice low and urgent. "Your ship, it leaves soon." "Princess, I shouldn't be speaking with you alone." The guards change shifts in 10 minutes. There's a 20-minute window where the south docking bay has minimal security. Her fingers dug into his arm. "Please. You know what they're doing to me." Taho hesitated. "This could cause an interplanetary incident. I am asking for asylum," she said, using formal diplomatic language. "Under Earth Directive 47, you must consider my request." She was right. The directive required consideration of asylum requests from those facing forced marriages, but accepting would mean. An alarm sounded, and Era tensed. "They've noticed I'm missing from the reception. What's your answer, Captain?" Taho thought of his sister back on Earth, who had nearly been forced into marriage by their traditional grandparents before their parents intervened. The memory decided him. South Docking Bay. 20 minutes. Bring nothing that can be tracked. Exactly 19 minutes later, Taho pretended to check cargo manifests at his ship while scanning for the princess. His heart hammered against his ribs. The Odyssey was prepped for departure with filed flight plans for a routine return to the human outpost on Proxima IV. A service droid approached, rolling awkwardly. When it reached the ship's ramp, the top panel slid back, and Princess Era emerged, now dressed in simple technician clothes. "Smart," Taho said, helping her aboard. "Anyone looking for missing droids?" "Only kitchen staff, and they won't report it for hours." She ran a hand through her shorn hair. She'd cut off her royal locks to fit in the droid. Once aboard, Taho signaled Sun Mai at the controls. "Emergency departure protocol." "What?" But the diplomatic. She saw the princess and her eyes widened. "Oh no. No, no, no. Just fly," Taho ordered. The Odyssey lifted off, following approved vectors until they reached the upper atmosphere. Then Sun Mai changed course, accelerating toward the jump point. "Genosian control to Earth Vessel Odyssey." A stern voice came through comms. "Your trajectory has deviated. Return to assigned departure route immediately." Taho ignored the call, watching proximity alerts as the planetary defense grid activated. "They're powering weapons," he warned. 30 seconds to jump capability," Sun Mai announced, her hands flying over controls. The ship shuddered as atmospheric interceptors closed in. A warning shot flashed past their hull. 15 seconds. The main view screen lit up with Queen Hana's furious face. The Royal Mother's ceremonial armor had been replaced with battle gear. "Return my daughter immediately, human, and your death will be quick. Continue this abduction, and I will hunt you across every system until I separate your head from your body." Taiho glanced at Ara, who stood tall despite her fear. "I chose to leave, Mother," she said firmly. "This is not an abduction, but my freedom." "Jump ready," Sunmai called. "You have made a terrible mistake," Queen Hana hissed as defense satellites locked onto the Odyssey. "By my crown and the ancient laws of Genosha, I will pursue you to the edge of the galaxy. No one steals from the Amazons." Taiho cut the transmission as the ship lurched into jump space, leaving Genosha behind. Temporary safety surrounded them in the swirling colors of faster-than-light travel. Era collapsed into a seat, her composed facade finally breaking. "She will never stop hunting us." "I know," Taiho replied, realizing his diplomatic career was over. "But at least you're free to choose your own path now." "Freedom." She repeated the word like it was foreign to her tongue. "Thank you, Captain. Though I fear what my mother will do when she catches us." "If," Taiho corrected, "if she catches us." The Odyssey drifted silently through the debris field of an abandoned mining sector. 3 days had passed since their escape from Genosha. Taiho watched the scanner for signs of pursuit, while Sunmai attempted to mask their engine signature. "Why did you help me?" Era asked, entering the bridge. She had adapted quickly to life aboard the small ship, exchanging her technician's clothes for a standard crew jumpsuit. Without her royal attire and with her newly cropped hair, she looked like any human spacer. Taiho turned from the console. "Your eyes." "My eyes," she repeated, confused. "During the ceremony, you looked exactly like my sister when our grandparents tried to arrange her marriage." He shrugged. "I couldn't walk away after seeing that." Era settled into the co-pilot's seat. "On Genosha, you would be executed for such interference." "Is that a threat or a warning?" Taiho asked with a half-smile. "An observation." She studied the star map. "Where are we going?" "Proxima IV has a human outpost. My friend Hyun works security there. He might help us, if he doesn't kill me first for starting an interplanetary incident." Sunmi snorted from her station. "Might. You stole a princess, Captain. We'll be lucky if Earth doesn't hand us over to save diplomatic relations." "I wasn't stolen," Era corrected firmly. "I left willingly." Taiho nodded toward the princess. "Tell us about Genosha. Humans only know what your diplomats share, which isn't much." Era's expression grew distant. "We evolved from Earth colonists who landed on Genosha 8 centuries ago. The planet's radiation affected the settlers, making women stronger and more resistant while weakening men. A matriarchy emerged naturally." "And the Amazon mythology?" Sunmai asked. "Adopted later. We found it fitting." Era sighed. "Men aren't mistreated on Genosha, just limited. They can't serve in the military or government. Most work in arts, child-rearing, or support roles." Taiho raised an eyebrow. "And you never questioned this system?" "Why would I? It's all I've known." She paused. "Though arranged marriages like mine are rare, even for royalty, my mother needed the alliance with Warlord Da to secure our borders." The ship's alarm suddenly blared. Sunmei frantically checked readings. Jump signatures. 3 ships entering the sector. Taiho pushed the engine to full power. "Genoshan." "Confirmed," Sunmai said. "Military-class interceptors." Era gripped her seat. "The Valkyrie Squadron." Mother sent her elite hunters. She looked pale. "Led by Commander Jae-yun, my mother's most loyal warrior." "How good are they?" Taiho asked, guiding the ship deeper into the debris field. "The best. Jae-yun trained me herself." Era's voice held respect and fear. "They track fugitives across multiple systems. No one escapes them." The comm system crackled. "Attention, human vessel. This is Commander Jai-yun of Genoshan Royal Forces. Return Princess Era immediately and surrender your captain for trial." Tai-ho glanced at Era. She nodded, and he opened the channel. "Commander," Era spoke clearly, "I am not being held against my will. I left Genosha by choice to avoid a forced marriage." A pause followed. "Princess, we are prepared to board and extract you, if you are speaking under duress." "I am not," Era interrupted. "Tell my mother I refuse to be traded for an alliance." The human captain granted asylum under Earth law. Tai-ho maneuvered between massive chunks of space debris, using the larger pieces to block scanner signals. The Odyssey was smaller and more maneuverable than the military vessels, but significantly outgunned. "Your asylum claim is rejected," Jai-yun replied coldly. "Queen Hana has declared the captain a kidnapper and enemy of Genosha." The first shots streaked past their hull, warning fire, designed to disable rather than destroy. "They're trying to herd us toward the open sector," Sun Mai warned. "Away from the debris field." Tai-ho smiled grimly. "Let's disappoint them." He cut thrust and dropped the ship into the wake of a massive spinning asteroid, using its rotation as cover. "What are you doing?" Era asked, gripping her seat as the ship shuddered. "Something stupid." He powered down all systems except life support and minimal thrusters. "They're expecting us to run, not hide." The Genoshan ships zoomed past their position, following the trajectory they'd been on before the sudden maneuver. For several tense minutes, the three fugitives sat in near darkness, watching scanner ghosts of the Valkyrie squadron searching the field. "They'll double back soon," Era whispered. "Jai-yun is too thorough. We just need enough time." Tai-ho carefully guided the ship into the hollowed center of a massive asteroid. This old mining field has hundreds of jump points plotted by prospectors, unofficial ones not on military charts. Suddenly worked with minimal power on the navigation computer, found one. 2 minutes to position. As they drifted closer to the hidden jump point, one of the Genoshan ships changed course, heading back toward their section of the debris field. "They're scanning with deep penetration rays," Sun Mai warned. 30 seconds before they detect us." The ship hummed as Tai-ho carefully restored power. "Jump drives online." 15 seconds. The comm crackled again. "Princess Era, if you truly left willingly, I respect your choice." Jai-yun's voice had softened slightly. "But consider the consequences. Your mother has invoked the blood hunt. She will never stop." Era took a deep breath before responding. "Then she will hunt a long time, Jai-yun. Tell her I've made my decision." The Odyssey vanished into jump space just as the Genoshan ship locked weapons. Swirling colors replaced the view of debris and pursuers. Tai-ho exhaled slowly, releasing tension he hadn't realized he was holding. "That was too close." "They'll follow our jump wake," Era said quietly. "Jai-yun is relentless. Then we'll just have to be more clever." Tai-ho checked their position. 6 hours to Proxima IV. Let's hope Hyun is feeling generous. Era watched the jump space colors with a mixture of wonder and apprehension. "I've never been more than a day's journey from Genosha before." "Freedom feels different, doesn't it?" Tai-ho asked. "Yes," she agreed. "Terrifying and wonderful at once." The Odyssey approached Proxima IV under false identification codes. The small mining outpost orbited a pale blue sun, its modular structures clustered around a central hub like metal barnacles. Nothing impressive, but to the exhausted fugitives, it looked like salvation. "Station Control, this is Trading Vessel Horizon requesting emergency docking." Tai-ho transmitted. "Authorization code Lima 743. A gruff voice responded after a lengthy pause. "Horizon, your codes are outdated. State your actual business." Tai-ho exchanged glances with Sun Mai before replying. "Tell Security Officer Hyun that his old academy roommate needs a place to hide. The one who saved him from that bar fight on Titan." Silence followed. Then, Proceed to docking bay 12. Security will meet you there. Era looked nervously at the approaching station. Will this friend truly help us? Hyun owes me his life, Tai-ho said. Though after he learns what we've done, he might decide we're even. They docked with minimal fanfare. Tai-ho instructed Sunmi and Era to wait aboard while he tested the waters. When the airlock opened, a stocky man with close-cropped hair waited, arms crossed. Tai-ho Kim, Hyun said without smiling. You must be truly desperate to come here. It's good to see you too, old friend. Hyun glanced at the ship. Words already spreading about a human captain who abducted an Amazon princess. Please tell me that's not why you're here. Tai-ho winced. She requested asylum. I granted it. You idiot. Hyun rubbed his temples. Do you know what you've done? Earth Diplomatic Corps has already disavowed you. There's a bounty on your head. I suspected as much. Tai-ho straightened his shoulders. We need a place to stay while we figure out our next move. Hyun stared at him for a long moment. 3 days. That's all I can give you, and you'll stay in the old maintenance quarters where no one goes. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Hyun lowered his voice. If anyone discovers I'm helping you, we'll both face charges. The maintenance quarters were cramped but private. 2 small rooms with basic amenities tucked away in an older section of the station. Hyun provided them with station clothes and temporary ID chips that would allow limited movement around non-restricted areas. On their second day, Era ventured out with Tai-ho to the central hub, curious about station life. She watched everything with intense interest, especially the social dynamics. That supervisor, she said quietly, pointing to a woman directing a maintenance crew that included 2 men. She gives orders, but she also listens to the male workers' suggestions. Tai-ho nodded. That's normal here. Why does it surprise you? On Genosha, men aren't expected to have valuable input on technical matters. She continued observing. And there, that couple, they're making decisions together about their purchase. They walked through the marketplace where vendors sold everything from fresh hydroponics produced to salvaged ship parts. Era stopped at a small school area where children gathered around a male teacher, a man teaching strategy games. She seemed genuinely confused. On my world, only women teach tactical thinking. Tai-ho watched her processing these observations. Different worlds, different ways. Later, in the station's communal dining area, they overheard news broadcasts about their situation. Queen Hannah of Genosha has formed an unprecedented alliance with Warlord Dai of the Krell Empire, announced the newscaster. Their combined fleet has begun systematic searches of human outposts in 3 sectors. Earth officials deny any government involvement in Princess Era's disappearance. Era's face darkened. My mother allied with Dai. She despises him and his entire empire. Desperation makes strange bedfellows, Sunmi commented. That night, Era sat with Tai-ho in their hideout, unusually quiet. Everything I was taught about human society was wrong, she finally said. Our historians described Earth colonies as primitive patriarchies where women are subjugated. But I'd watched for 2 days, and I see partnership, not domination. Tai-ho shrugged. Earth had patriarchies historically, just as some colonies developed matriarchies. Most evolved toward balance. My mother would call it weakness. Era looked troubled. She taught me that male leadership always leads to violence and oppression, and female leadership led to your forced marriage, Tai-ho pointed out gently. Era considered this. You challenge my thinking, Captain. Call me Tai-ho. I'm not a captain anymore. A soft alarm from Hyun's communication device interrupted them. He checked the message and cursed. Station security received an alert. A Genosian diplomatic vessel is requesting emergency docking. They claim to be searching for a dangerous criminal. Sunmi paled. How did they find us so quickly? They must have traced our jump signature. Tai-ho began gathering their few possessions. We need to leave now. Hyun shook his head. Too late. They've deployed scanning drones throughout the station. You'll never reach your ship without detection. There must be another way out, Era insisted. Hyun hesitated, then sighed. The maintenance tunnels connect to the old mining tunnels. They lead to an abandoned emergency shuttle bay. But the shuttles there haven't been serviced in years. Better than certain capture, Taeho decided. As they prepared to leave, station alarms began blaring. Hyun checked his security feed, and his expression grew grave. It's not just Geonosians. Krell forces are docking at the opposite hub. They've declared a joint security operation. Era's hands clenched into fists. Mother and Dai working together. I never thought I'd see this. They moved quickly through dimly lit maintenance passages, Hyun leading the way. At a junction, he stopped. I can't go further. My absence will be noticed. He handed Taeho an old-style data chip. This has the codes for the emergency shuttles and a route to a small trading post where you might find transport. Taeho clasped his friend's hand. I owe you. Yes, you do. Hyun managed to smile. Try not to start any more interplanetary incidents. As they continued through the tunnels, they heard the distant sounds of the station being searched. Ara touched Taeho's arm as they paused at an intersection. I'm beginning to think I chose the right kidnapper, she said with unexpected warmth. I'm still not sure I made the right choice, he admitted, but I don't regret it. The station shuddered as docking clamps engaged another ship. Their time was running out. The emergency shuttle wheezed through space, its outdated systems struggling to maintain life support. 2 weeks had passed since their narrow escape from Proxima IV. Taeho, Era, and Sunmai had survived by hopping between remote outposts, staying one step ahead of their pursuers. We can't keep running forever, Era said, watching Taeho repair a damaged control panel. Their close quarters had forced a peculiar intimacy between them. Each escape gets narrower than the last. Taeho wiped sweat from his brow. Your mother is more persistent than I expected. You underestimated the queen's love for her daughter. Era's voice held no accusation, only tired acknowledgement. Sunmai entered from the tiny sleeping quarters. Communications are working again. I picked up a broadcast about us. She activated the small view screen. A reporter's voice filled the cabin. The hunt for Princess Era of Geonosia and her human abductor enters its 4th week. Queen Hana has expanded the search to include 17 systems and has offered a reward of 5,000 Cretan gems for information leading to her daughter's return. The image shifted to Queen Hana herself, regal and fierce in battle armor. Let it be known that the human will face Geonosian justice, but my daughter will be welcomed home without punishment. She was clearly manipulated by Earth forces seeking to undermine our alliance with the Krell Empire. Era shut off the broadcast. She's saving face, making it seem like I couldn't possibly have left willingly. It's more than that, Taeho said quietly. She can't admit you rejected Geonosian traditions. It would undermine her authority. Sunmi studied the star charts. We're running out of places to hide. Maybe it's time to stop running. Taeho and Era both turned to her in surprise. What do you mean? Taeho asked. I mean we make a stand. Go public. Tell everyone the truth. Sunmi pointed to a location on the chart. Neutral Station Epsilon. It's a diplomatic hub with representatives from 30 systems. If we can reach it, we can request a public hearing. Era considered this. My mother would have to follow diplomatic protocols there. She couldn't simply seize us without violating interstellar law. It's risky, Taeho warned. We'd be exposed. We're already exposed, Era countered. At least this way, we control the narrative. 3 days later, their shuttle approached the massive wheel-shaped station. Neutral Station Epsilon rotated slowly against the backdrop of a nebula, its spokes connecting the outer ring to the central hub. Station Control, this is Shuttle Aurora requesting emergency diplomatic docking, Taeho transmitted. We seek sanctuary and a public forum under Section 12 of the Galactic Charter. A professional voice responded almost immediately. Shuttle Aurora, transmit identification codes, and state the nature of your diplomatic emergency. Taiho took a deep breath. This is Captain Taiho Kim of Earth, traveling with Princess Era of Genosha. We request asylum and the opportunity to address false accusations of abduction. Silence followed. Then, stand by, Shuttle Aurora. Sunlight whispered, they're probably checking with 50 different authorities right now. After several tense minutes, the voice returned. Shuttle Aurora, proceed to Diplomatic Docking Bay 7. Security will escort you to neutral ground. Be advised that representatives from Earth, Genosha, and the Krell Empire have been notified of your arrival. They docked without incident. Station security, humans, and aliens wearing the blue uniforms of the neutral authority, escorted them through wide corridors to the central hub. Curious diplomats and travelers watched them pass. The neutral ground was a circular chamber with tiered seating and a central speaking platform. It was already filling with representatives when they arrived. The security chief, a tall woman with silver hair, addressed them. You will be given the opportunity to speak. However, be advised that Queen Hannah's ship has just entered our system. She has requested and been granted permission to address this gathering. Taiho felt Era stiffen beside him. How long do we have? 20 minutes, perhaps less. The chief gestured to the platform. Make them count. Era spoke first, her voice clear and steady as she explained her refusal to be used as a political pawn. Taiho followed, detailing how he had responded to her request for asylum. They had just finished when a commotion at the chamber's entrance drew all eyes. Queen Hannah entered, flanked by Commander Jai-yun and 6 members of the Valkyrie Squadron. Their armor gleamed under the chamber lights, weapons conspicuously visible despite station regulations. Behind them came a hulking figure, Warlord Da himself, his scared face twisted in a perpetual sneer. My daughter, Queen Hannah's voice filled the chamber without effort. You have caused quite enough trouble. It is time to return home. Era stepped forward. Mother, I chose to leave. Captain Kim granted me asylum when I requested it. A convenient story. The Queen descended toward the central platform. This human manipulated you, filling your head with Earth propaganda. No one manipulated me. Era's composure cracked. I refused to marry a man I'd never met for an alliance you wanted. Warlord Da growled. The arrangement was sealed. Her defiance insults the Krell Empire. The chamber erupted in murmurs as various diplomats recognized the potential for interplanetary conflict. The security chief tried to maintain order, but tension filled the air. Queen Hannah raised her hand for silence. Enough. I came to retrieve my daughter and the human who took her. She signaled, and the Valkyrie warriors moved forward, surrounding the platform. Taiho stepped between them and Era. This is neutral ground. You cannot take us by force. Watch me, the Queen said coldly. Commander Jai-yun approached, disruptor drawn. Move aside, human. Instead, Taiho stood taller. No. What happened next stunned the chamber into silence. Jai-yun attacked with lightning speed, a strike that should have incapacitated him instantly. But Taiho moved with unexpected agility, redirecting her momentum in a defensive technique rarely seen outside Earth's specialized military. 2 more warriors advanced. Though clearly outmatched, Taiho held his ground, using their strength against them in a desperate display of courage that drew gasps from the audience. When a 3rd warrior's blow finally connected, dropping him to one knee, he still refused to yield. Blood trickled from his lip as he looked up at Queen Hannah. I will not let you force her back, he said simply. Before the Queen could respond, Era placed herself between Taiho and her mother's warriors, her stance mirroring the defensive position she'd been taught since childhood. If you want him, Mother, you'll have to go through me first. The Queen's eyes widened in genuine shock. You would defend this human against your own people, your own mother. I defend his right to help me, Era replied, her voice steady again, and my right to choose my own path. The standoff held, tension crackling in the air as mother and daughter faced each other across the divide of tradition and freedom. The silence in the chamber stretched like a drawn bowstring. Queen Hannah stared at her daughter, incomprehension slowly giving way to fury. The watching diplomats whispered behind their hands, sensing the historic nature of this confrontation. "Lower your stance," Queen Hannah commanded. "You forget yourself." "Era, I know exactly who I am," Era replied, maintaining her protective position in front of Taiho. Perhaps for the first time. Taiho rose to his feet, wincing from his injuries but standing tall beside Era. The Valkyrie warriors looked to their queen, awaiting orders. "This is a family matter," Queen Hannah announced to the chamber. "Clear the room." The station's security chief stepped forward. "With respect, Your Majesty, this remains neutral ground. You cannot command here." Warlord Dag growled, his patience clearly exhausted. "Enough talk. The princess was promised to me. I will take what is mine." He signaled to his own guards who moved forward, weapons ready. "Stop," Era's voice rang out. "I challenge the right of arrangement." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. Even Queen Hannah looked startled. "The ancient law," Era continued. "Any Geonosian royal may challenge an arranged marriage through the right of truth. It hasn't been invoked in 3 generations, but it remains valid." Commander Jai-yun whispered something to the queen, who nodded reluctantly. "She speaks correctly," Queen Hannah acknowledged. "The right of truth allows a royal to question an arrangement before the Council of Elders." "We are not on Geonosia," Warlord Dai snarled. "Your primitive customs mean nothing here." "Actually," the security chief interjected, "under neutral ground protocols, cultural rights of resolution take precedence over force. If Queen Hannah recognizes this right, we must honor it." Queen Hannah studied her daughter with narrowed eyes. "Very well. The right of truth demands complete honesty between challenger and challenged. As your mother and queen, I stand as the challenged." The center of the chamber cleared. Ara and her mother faced each other, while everyone else moved to the periphery. Taiho watched anxiously as sunlight tended his wounds. "Begin your challenge," Queen Hannah instructed. Ara took a deep breath. "I challenge the right of arrangement on grounds that it serves your political ambitions, not Geonosian welfare." "The alliance with the Krell Empire protects our borders," the queen countered. "Your duty is to your people." "A duty I never chose," Era replied, "just as you never chose yours." The queen stiffened. "What do you mean?" "Grandmother's journals. I found them before I left." Era's voice softened. "You were once like me, weren't you? Running from an arranged marriage." Murmurs rippled through the watching crowd. Queen Hannah's composure slipped for an instant. "That was different," she said sharply. "Was it?" Era pressed. "You loved a navigator from the Centauri colonies. Grandmother had him captured when she found you trying to escape. What happened to him, mother?" The queen's face had gone pale. "This is not relevant to your challenge." "It is the heart of my challenge," Era insisted. "You became exactly what broke you. Tell me what happened to him." For a moment, it seemed Queen Hannah might refuse. Then her shoulders fell slightly. "Executed. For the crime of corrupting a royal heir." Her voice held ancient pain. "I was forced to watch." A hush fell over the chamber. Even the Valkyrie warriors looked uncomfortable. "And then you were married to my father, a man selected for his bloodline," Era said gently. "A man you never loved." "Love is irrelevant to duty," Queen Hannah snapped, but the words lacked conviction. "Is it?" Era gestured toward Taiho. "This human risked everything to help me escape the same fate you suffered, not for advantage or alliance, but because he recognized my pain." She stepped closer to her mother. "The pain you once felt yourself." Queen Hannah's eyes flashed to Taiho, seeing him anew. "He fought well," she admitted reluctantly. "For a human." "He fought for me," Era corrected, "as no one fought for you." Something shifted in the queen's expression, a crack in armor worn for decades. "I became what broke me," she whispered, echoing Era's earlier words. Warlord Dai stepped forward, impatient with this display of emotion. Enough of this spectacle. Queen Hana, control your daughter or our alliance ends here. The queen turned to him, her regal bearing returning. You speak of control to a queen of Genosha. Her voice carried dangerous undercurrents. Perhaps I have misjudged the value of this alliance. You would throw away our agreement over a disobedient girl. Dai snarled. I would reconsider an alliance with a man who sees my daughter as property, Queen Hana replied coldly. Commander Jai-yun, escort the warlord and his entourage back to their ship. Jai-yun smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. With pleasure, Your Majesty. As the protesting warlord was led away, Queen Hana turned back to her daughter. The right of truth is satisfied. You have reminded me of who I was, and perhaps who I should have remained. She straightened her shoulders. I acknowledge your right to refuse the arrangement. Relief washed over Era's face. Thank you, Mother. However, the Queen continued, your actions have created diplomatic complications that must be addressed. You will return to Genosha to participate in formal dissolution of the alliance. Era hesitated, glancing at Taiho. The Queen noticed the look. The human may accompany you, as your chosen protector. His asylum of you will be recognized, though Earth must address his violation of diplomatic protocols. Sunme stepped forward. I can serve as Earth's liaison in those negotiations, with Your Majesty's permission. 1 year later, the Great Hall of Genosha's royal palace hosted a different kind of ceremony. Representatives from Earth and a dozen other systems watched as Era was named ambassador to the Galactic Council, the first such position in Genoshan history. Beside her stood Taiho, now officially recognized as her diplomatic partner and personal guard, a new role created to acknowledge their unusual relationship. Queen Hana presided over the ceremony with dignity, though close observers noted her traditional policies had softened in recent months. Men had been admitted to junior roles in government for the first time in centuries. After the formal proceedings, the Queen found her daughter and Taiho in a quiet corridor. The Earth delegation seems pleased with our new trade agreements, she remarked. Era nodded. Opening Genosha to greater exchange benefits everyone. The Queen's eyes moved to Taiho. You continue to prove useful, human. Your tactical suggestions for our border security were adequate. Taiho bowed slightly. High praise from the Queen of Amazons. A hint of amusement touched the Queen's lips. Don't become overconfident. She turned to leave, then paused. My daughter chose well, though I'll deny saying so if you repeat it. As the Queen departed, Era took Taiho's hand, from kidnapper to royal advisor. Quite a journey. Worth every moment, he replied, squeezing her hand. Though I still watch my back whenever your mother enters a room. Era laughed. Wise precaution. She's still hunting you in her own way. Some hunts, Taiho said with a smile, end better than they begin.